how was working on this project, and were there any times where you had to like check yourself?
I think it was really just whenever you're really submitting to God's plan, like what can happen, the fruit from that, because a lot of people, their opinion of black women is like, oh, chaotic.
Just in general within like the Christian space, I think people view black culture as sin.
And let me just say this.
Even Reach. Yeah. I was serving artists, bro. Wow. Like, yeah, and I wasn't signed yet. I was on staff.
From the beginning.
Yeah, I was on staff. I was an intern, and then I was on staff.
Hiring her to look for female talent.
Artists. Bro, talk about refinement.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Lish Speaks, and we are back with another episode of my podcast, I'll Just Let Myself In. It's the podcast where we don't wait for an imaginary permission slip or some invitation to a seat at some imaginary table. We let ourselves into our God-given doors. Y'all already know I bring you the best guests. I bring the best guests, okay? And I bring guests who are really walking out what we talk about here on this podcast. People who really believe that God has called them for a specific purpose, and they do not wait for others to give them permission to walk through those doors. The two people sitting on my couch today are really icons in CHH, period. And they are actual real friends of mine, and I know that what they proclaim in the studio, on wax, on their content is actually the way that they're living. So I'm just hyped to have them on the couch today. One of them is a new mom, a pioneer in CHH in terms of just the way that she has shown up in the business of CHH, and someone who you guys all know and love. The other is really, to me, CHH's most swaggy girl. The one who comes through with the looks, the makeup, the fits, the crazy hooks, amazing writer, a newlywed herself. And they come together so beautifully on tracks to really show the power of the living God in unity amongst women. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about none other than Anike and Porsha Love.
Hey.
Yes, welcome to the couch. Listen, I'm hyped.
Yay!
I'm hyped because I have witnessed firsthand how you guys move in, not just in business, but in ministry and in relationships. So for me, you know, being able to be a small part of this project that you guys have out, which we're going to talk about, good news, no gossip. If you haven't heard it, you're late. But you're late. You can catch up. You can catch up. We want you to catch up. But I've just been able to see just how you guys move and how you guys support each other, love on each other, correct and disciple each other. It's just beautiful. And so I'm excited that the world is able to see how you guys move. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How y'all feeling today?
We feel great. You know, We were like literally saying before we hopped on, like, you know, sometimes life can be like, man, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. Then you get there and you're like, wow, this is so beautiful. Thank God.
Life is so good. Yeah. I'm so glad I got out.
I'm so glad I came. I know. Yes. I'm so glad. We were talking before the cameras came on. You know, when you're doing a lot, and you guys have been doing a lot, we're going to talk about this.
Yes.
Because, baby, the press run, the rollouts, the roll is rolling. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, they not playing. And even before the project came out, just the way you guys were moving with so much intention, I know it can't be easy. So I just want to honor how hard you guys have worked at this project.
Thanks.
Yes.
It's been crazy. Anike, you just had a baby.
Yes.
She's here, guys.
Yes, she's here behind the scenes.
And, you know, with you promoting this project, you were pregnant the entire time.
Yeah.
Non-stop moving,
Non-stop.
performing.
Yeah.
You did a panel with me. You were at Woman Evolved. How did you do all that?
Hey, that's the grace of the Lord right there.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I feel like the Lord equips you for what He calls you for. So I think you just give Him your yes and you go. So I think if the Lord is telling you to sit down, then sit down. But for me, I feel like He just gave me the go. Yeah. So let's go ahead and keep moving. And so that's how I'm out here, and I just genuinely have the joy. I genuinely love Christian music. Yeah. I genuinely love my sisters in Christ. So like things like Women Evolve, I'm like, I'm trying to be there. Like I actually
walking up all the steps.
Yeah, I want to be fed. I want to enjoy. I want to experience all this. So like it's really cool. For me, it's an honor just to like literally we happen just to get paid for some of this, and so it's like beautiful to like get paid to like do what I would already do for free anyway. So
absolutely. And Portia, I feel like, you know, over the last year, it's so funny because I'm trying to ask these questions all professionally when we
right.
But
I
feel like over the last year, you know, you becoming a new wife, and you were doing music before that. You know, your husband also does music, also works in the space creatively. Shout out to Don, who produced the whole first season of this podcast with me, co-produced, and just, you know, makes things happen. He's behind the cameras right now. That's my bro. If I can't call my husband, I'm calling Don to get it done. But you had to make some adjustments even in that, because let me tell you, we know you can't move how you were moving when you were single.
No.
As a wife.
Yes.
So I've heard you say in other interviews that people always want you to choose. You can only be one or the other. You could be a wife or a career woman. You could be a mom or a career woman, you know. And you've navigated you both so beautifully, being both. What have you learned in the last year of being year and change of being married, while still producing something as great as what you've produced?
Oh, the importance of balance, of making sure that you are prioritizing what's important, so that when you step out into the world, like, you're your full self. I have to make sure that home is good, so that when I step out into the real world, I come across, you know, just who I need to be. I'm more confident. I'm more loving. You know, I feel I'm fulfilled. I'm refilled because I'm spending that time with God, and I'm spending that time with my husband. So just prioritizing and balancing everything has been something that I'm consistently juggling, especially with my relationship with God, because sometimes I be forgetting to read my word, or, you know, it's just being more intentional about spending that time with the Lord, knowing that He'll deposit back into me. It's something I'm still working on, but definitely balance. Balance is the key. And patience. Giving yourself some grace, giving yourself some patience. I ain't never been married before.
Period.
You know, I ain't never did this before. Like, and he ain't never been a husband before. You know, so we're learning it together. So it's exciting, but it's definitely challenging. But just giving myself some grace all the way through it.
I love that. Grace is so important in marriage and friendships and collaborative situations, because you're working with a whole nother human being. They have their own way of thinking, their own experiences, their own past, right? And so they see things differently than you, and you really have to have the humility to navigate that space well. Let's talk about Good News, No Gossip, right? This is you guys' first EP, correct?
Yeah, together.
But not your first. Yeah, your first EP, collaborative EP. Holy Girls.
Yeah.
But not your first time working together at all. So when you guys come together, I've heard you say this in the past, that the reason that it works is because you put your ego and your pride to the side.
Yeah.
How was working on this project, and were there any times when you had to like check yourself, like, all right, we need to get this done, or I need to stop doing this or that? How was it working together this time?
Honestly, it was great. I feel like, honestly, on the relationship side, like, there was really no issues for real. I think it was really just like, we just gotta stop talking. We actually gotta lock in. Yeah. I think it was mostly that of like, okay, like, stop talking, like, get the verse done, like. And I think I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was just like a whole bunch of fun. Like, the actual music creation process was great. Yeah, that was a phenomenal time. Like, so we just got to learn more about each other, pray for each other, because life happens in between, like that. So it was really cool, like, even just getting able to do life like beyond music for each other and like support each other as sisters. I think that was really great. I think on the marketing side too, I think both of us were able to learn on that side, because I think it's really cool, because we were partnering with Reach, and so she's coming into like the system that I've been with, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years.
I learned a lot.
So I think but I think it's a mutual thing. So I think, one, she can learn more about like, okay, like, this is how some corporations run things, but then I think also she brings a fresh perspective of like, even though you have been doing it, doesn't mean you have to keep doing it like that. So I think she also brings like insightful questions to the team to like help people like open their brain of like, hey, like, what is the why behind why you're doing it? Is there actually a why?
Like Porsha.
Or is there actually a reason, or are you just doing it because that's how things have been done? And so I think it's actually opens people's brain to be like, oh, like, am I just doing this because, or like, do I actually have a refreshed vision for what I'm doing? So I think it's cool. It brings some new life into everything. I think it holds everybody accountable. I think it also keeps things creative and fresh to where we're not just doing what everybody else does. And I think it humanizes like all of our experiences. So,
I love that.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with that. I feel like this has been such a great experience. It's my first EP in general. I've done like albums before Spotify and iTunes was a thing. I'm telling my age, but
SoundCloud,
right? Okay,
very much SoundCloud,
a Bandcamp.
Yes, yep.
But you know, coming into this new level of Porsha Love, like this has been so exciting to be able to do my first project with my sister. And I feel like it's just well, for one, I know that it's a God thing, but it's been so refreshing. We work so well together. We like a lot of the same things. So it's never hard to make a suggestion, and we trust each other. So even if we disagree about something, it's a way that it's like, okay, well, I trust her judgment. I trust her character. I trust what she's saying. So it's easy to submit to that, and vice versa. It's easy to be like, okay, well, you know what? I feel like it should be done this way, but I trust your judgment. Let's just go with it. And what you do is working anyway, you know? So, and what you have done or whatever is working. So I can trust that, you know, I can submit to that. So it's been a breeze. Like she said, the hardest part was really just actually locking in. Cause
stopping the yapping.
Yeah, because we was in the studio with Clark D. Shout out to Clark. And we just, you know, and then Darius was there. Like, we just yapping and eating and having a good old time.
I was going to say one thing from whenever she was talking that it just triggered like an idea in my head was it also showed me the importance of representation. So I would say like sometimes we'd have meetings, right? And so I think the way certain people might say things, because like the staff at Reach is different diversity. Like you got white people, Hispanic people. And so I think representation is important because I can tell when I'm talking through the phone of like, I feel like they're making her uncomfortable right now, or I feel like the way they said that was not the best situation, and I feel like that's really important because I noticed that because then I can like figure out how to advocate for like my sister in a particular way if I feel like I don't really like the way this conversation's going, and I think vice versa as well. Like I think whenever you have someone who's like you or another black woman, you can be like, no, our skin needs to look like this.
Exactly.
Actually.
Because we have like art conversations and sometimes people have strong opinions of like, no, this is art, and it's like, no, but I can't look ashy. No, and so
this isn't gonna work.
Or just like even just different marketing ideas, and so I think it's really cool too with representation. Cause like it's you don't think about it till you're there. It's like, dang, it's only me, Portia, and Cece who probably if it had like funding behind our projects for real. And so like just even being able to have representation in those spaces as we're having conversations and pushing things forward that have never been done. You have someone who understands you and can see beyond emotion or see beyond, you know, just whatever's going on the surface.
That's been fun to like have each other back because it's like, oh, she'll agree on something and then maybe somebody else will disagree, and now I'm like, no, I understand why we should do it this way. So I'll like have her back in the chat or whatever, or in the rooms or in the conversations, and just be like, no, I'm in agreement with that. I think it's best to do it that way. So just being able to stay in unity and stay on one accord has been amazing. You know, it makes it easy.
No, and you said a word that I think people get afraid to use. Even in romantic relationships, but definitely in friendships. You said, I can submit. And the Bible calls us to submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. And there's a friendship epidemic going on right now. We ain't gonna get into that because that's not what we're here for. But people have forgotten how to be friends. People have forgotten how to be friends, how to forgive, how to apologize.
Come on.
How to be.
Because we had to apologize. It'd be times like, you know what? I'm sorry, sister. I didn't mean to say it that way.
I'm tired. It ain't you. It's me. I'm bugging. I was wrong. You know, people have forgotten how to show up for one another when it's not about them. People have forgotten. And I think it's so cool that you guys model and have modeled time after time in an industry, not so much CHH. I feel like the women of CHH, I feel like we hold each other down. But just industry wide, music industry, it is not common for women to work together in this way. And even when they do, there's usually some ploy. Like I have seen you guys in every type of way. No cameras, no lights, no nothing. Cameras, lights, everything. And it's the same energy. So I feel like that should really be applauded because there is a true submission to one another out of reverence for Christ. Like y'all just keep the main thing. Y'all really want God to be glorified. And that's just what it is, you know? And I think that that's a beautiful thing. What are your hopes in terms of bringing other women into CHH or encouraging? Because I don't know that everybody always want y'all to bring somebody. It's like we trying to bring ourselves, you know.
Not for real.
So not necessarily bringing, because I know we talk, but encouraging other women who may not have these platforms yet, but are really talented and really good. Like, what are your hopes for that?
I think education is super important. So I'm hoping that they'll be educated on like how the music industry works, how to record, just even confidence in general. I know one way I'm being able to plant that seed is like I have a book called like Sound Release 101.
Come on now.
And so shout out God. So in
Cop
there, and also spending time with my sisters inspired it, because we'd have like little sessions where we just like meet up at my house and like, or meet up at coffee shops and like go over certain things. And so from her and Queen Lee, it was like, since I'm already talking about these, let me be obedient to the Lord and actually put it out. So I finally finished the book, put it out, and it has just everything you need to know to like start off your artist
It's a
career.
cheat code for real.
Nah, for real. Yeah, if you read that, you'll be
Let
straight.
me read it because I need
Yeah,
to figure out
It's
my
so good.
Yeah,
music stuff too.
no, yeah, you'll
it's
be
really
you'll
good.
be for real straight. Like it goes over everything, splits, how to upload,
I wish
how to
I had
claim,
that when
how to
I
claim
first
your
started
money,
out.
everything. So that's one thing I put. So if you read that, you know, I can duplicate myself. That's a way of me duplicating myself. Like where anything you wanted to ask me, it should be in that book.
Yeah.
And
We'll
so
definitely link it in the description.
And so that's one way. Like I hope for women, because I know for me coming up, so many people wasting my time. So like you can expedite years by like just having education. Because I know for me, I'd be like, oh, like I want to get this song out, but I need a beat. And then back then it's like I can't afford a beat. So then people be like, oh, well, I'll let you do a song, but you have to do a song exactly how I want the song to be. And it's like I just want to make my own songs. Or it's like, oh yeah, man, I'm just busy. Like I'm gonna put the song out in like 2 months. Oh, 6 months. Oh, or like, oh, I can help you get signed. You know, you just got to make the song the way I need to make. And so then it's just like, you're just prolonging my life story. And so I think education just helps expedite this so people don't waste your time. Or somebody playing around, it's like, it's okay. I know how to upload a song. Like, I ain't got to wait 10 years for you. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing about it, too, with what I talk about and letting yourself in, we can waste our own time, too. That's a big thing. Procrastination, you know, overthinking, this whole imposter syndrome idea. See, I kind of had the cheat code because when I started doing music, I had, until this day, I have worked with one producer. And so I had beats at my disposal. We put out music when we felt like putting it out. What got in my way was me. And I realized that when I started this podcast, I told myself, you're not doing that again. You did that with your music. You're not doing that again. You will stay out of your own way. Yeah. You will let yourself into your God-given doors. And I've seen how God has moved with my obedience and consistency.
Inspiring, by the way.
Thank you, friend.
Incredible. I know this is interview, it's for us, but I just got to give you your flowers, sister. It has been a joy to see.
You've literally been there from the beginning. Portia was my first guest.
I was.
My first guest on my podcast. So
Yeah.
it's been great, and I know that when God gives me the green light to go back into music, I will do it with more urgency, because I have seen how disobedience and it will cost you years. Like you said, you wasting your time, then you start entertaining people that's wasting your time. And so I'm excited to get into what you've written, because I do believe there's a lot for me to learn and a lot for people to learn. And when I think about like Christian hip hop or just music, the music industry in general, one of the things that's so important to me is making sure that you are aligned with the music that you're making, right? So when I listen to the project, Good News, No Gossip, every song is really things that y'all are living and really things that y'all are passionate about. And then what I love, and obviously I'm a little biased about this, but I love the voicemails. I love the voicemails. You know, Lecrae, really big icons, people who are amazing in the space, like Lecrae, you know, Queen Lee, 1K, your husbands. Yeah. Myself,
Lish
you know,
Speaks,
Lish Speaks, which I was so honored. I was like, what? Like, I was so honored.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, I really ride for y'all. So.
Yeah. That's why we put you on there.
To the point where I have to stop saying, especially your name, Portia, and meetings. I'm like, I don't want people to feel like I'm name dropping, but I just really want any opportunity I'm involved in. I'm like, so are we gonna get Portia?
You said,
What are we doing? You know what I mean? Are we gonna get Anike? What are we doing? Like, are you want me to represent women? You gotta get them.
Bring them in.
You gotta get them. Like, I don't know what y'all gotta do. You gotta figure it out. You know,
figure it out.
Period. And so, but I really do ride for y'all and just believe in y'all and a lot of people, you know, and what they do in CHH. So I just appreciate those voicemails, because I feel like they gave like a old school feel to it, an authenticity, and also let people know that you guys have people who are covering you in this space. Like the voice notes were cute, but every person y'all ask are people who actually have looked out for y'all, pray for y'all, really want y'all to win. And I love Lecrae starting out with really acknowledging that people may have overlooked women in this space, but God never has.
Yes.
How did it feel to have Lecrae open up your project in terms of the voice notes? You know,
I feel like it was so important for us in general for all of y'all to be a part of it, because I wanted the people to see that women are supported. Yeah. I wanted the people to see that Black women in Christian hip hop are also supported behind the scenes. I want them to get a little peek at what be going on in the studios or in our conversations or when we're on the phone. So it was very important for me to invite people who have always supported us, always poured into us. Anytime I'm in the studio and Lecrae is there, he always saying, "Oh, you and Anike, that verse was crazy. Holy girls up!" Like, you know, he just has so much energy. But he has always said encouraging things. Yeah, that remind me of what we did back in the day with 116. Yeah, y'all just lock in. The women going crazy. You know, so like he has always been so supportive of what we're doing, and it means a lot, especially him being the pioneer of CHH. Yeah. You know, overall, it's very valuable. Even with like Phew and you all has always held down the women in Christian hip hop. It's because of him, like me and Anike was just saying before we even started, that we met so many of our sisters that we like love and are involved with today because of you. Yeah. So he's very supportive, even with you and Queen Lee and our husbands, you know, like Anike can speak a little bit about the husband's take, but just having that representation was very important for us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I definitely agree. Like, it was just beautiful just to have all those people who support us privately, like showing publicly, like just how much they love and care for us.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Talk about a little bit about having your husbands on those voices.
Oh no, it was super sweet. I think it's also really good to have representation in general of just how much our husbands love and support us. Like, I think it also shows, like, whenever you're really submitting to God's plan, like, what can happen, the fruit from that. Because a lot of people, their opinion of Black women is like, oh, chaotic. And it's like, nah, we have husbands who actually love us, actually support us. And yeah, I think it's just beautiful to see a representation of Black women with supportive husbands, seeing husbands who do love Christ and who do love their wives.
And it's possible.
Yes.
You know,
very much so.
For us to balance it all. Yes. Balance the marriage, balance the
got a man
wife.
at home, honey. I got a man.
Okay,
doing all the work and all the things.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something. It's very much possible to have a husband and a child in your case and still do what God has called you to do. Yes. God would not have given you these things to hinder you. Exactly. And this is one thing I used to share with people when they would become Christians, young Christians, and then they would stop rapping or stop doing fashion or stop doing photography. I would say, you think God allowed you to be saved to stifle your gifts? Yeah. Maybe we need to redirect those gifts. Right. You know, if you was twerking, you need to start shouting. But right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. If you was cussing, you need to start speaking in tongues. Whatever you got to do to redirect.
Do something different.
But you need to still use your gifts. And I think it's so that's the representation that really needs to be shown. But I do want to talk a little bit about you guys as Black women. It burns me up. It burns me up. Yeah. When I see anyone say anything negative about you guys, child like Cece, Queen Lee, any of the women, because other women of other races and other hues, because there's also colorism involved in this, do not get that energy. Other people don't get that energy. Other men don't get certain energy. You know, Lecrae has gotten a lot of hate. 1K has gotten people, you know, I think people have, I'll just call it what people have a race issue. Yeah. In Christian music, not just CHH. Yeah. CCM versus gospel, all these things. And it is so unbiblical, so unchristlike. And I heard you guys talking on the Fix, shout out to Focus and you know, the Fix Radio. But I heard you guys talking about how you combat those types of comments and things like that. But I honestly want to know heart-wise, like heart posture-wise, how do you keep your heart soft toward what you're doing when you have so much opposition out there against you?
Well, first I would say that I think a lot of people view Blackness as sinful. So just in general within like the Christian space, I think people view Black culture as sin because they've probably seen most of it on music videos or in television, or you know, but it's like, oh, my earrings, the way I wear my hair, the way I wear my jewelry, the way I dress, it's like, you know, as long as I'm not provocative, you know, it's like this isn't sin. Like just because the beat got a 808 on it or this and that, you know what I'm saying? They just view a lot of things in Black culture as sinful, and there's sin in every culture. But of course,
child,
yeah.
don't get me started. Hello.
Yeah, but others, you know, some people just favor other because of the stigma that we get. But for me, just keeping my heart pure is my confidence. Like, I know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know who Portia is, and people are gonna have something to say regardless of what you do. You know, my husband was just talking about this earlier, and the Bible talks about how if the world hated you, just know it hated me first. You know, so I would actually be concerned if people wasn't saying negative things about me. I would be concerned if everybody agreed with what I had to say. That means I'm too much on the fence. That means, you know, I should be ruffling some feathers with my faith. You know, so I am not upset about that. I don't internalize that because I'm confident in who I am and who God has called me to be. I just, honestly, genuinely, I feel sorry for people that you're deceived. Because it's like, wow, you have women of God who really love God and who really living for God behind the scenes, and you're so blind that you can't discern the fact that, oh, this is your sister in
And
Christ.
let me just say this: racism is demonic. Let me look into the camera.
Yes.
Racism is demonic. There's no two ways about it. And I'm not one of them Christians that run around calling everything demonic. You know what I mean? Some stuff is just sinful, you know, whatever. We're human beings. But racism, looking at someone and determining that because of the color of their skin, something that they're doing is improper, when if someone else did the exact same thing, it would not be improper, is racism. Looking at a man do something and then seeing a woman do the exact same thing, and now it's improper, it's sexism, and it's sin. And it's not something that you need to get over. It's something that you need to repent about. You will go to hell behind racism. I don't know who.
Hello.
I don't know who needs
drop.
to hear that. And the truth of the matter is, this is something that we've really got to deal with in the body of Christ. And I'm just gonna say this: it'll be dealt with better by the people who are perpetuating it. So let me say this. Let me say it better, right? I can help Portia with something because Portia's my friend, and Portia and I have a shared experience on a lot of different things. So it's better coming from me, right? So if you happen to be someone who considers yourself an ally, and you see the difference of how somebody treats Porsha and Anike versus how they treat, I want to say a name so bad. I'm not going to do it.
Don't do it.
Versus how they treat a fairer skinned, maybe different race or ethnicity,
or
woman,
genre,
woman, or man in CHH, and you happen to be the person you need to speak to that person. In fact, you need to correct and rebuke that person, because when you do it or I do it, we just look like angry black women. We just look upset. Well, when the truth is, these are things that need to be repented of, and I for one, I'm tired of it. But the one thing I do love about y'all and everybody in this space, we don't let it get us down. We keep making music. We keep showing up on stages. We keep preaching the gospel. And I just commend y'all for that. Okay.
Yeah, and I think you really have to keep going, because if you stop, like, that's exactly what the enemy wants you to do. I think one thing that's cool is because we're so, like, deep in ministry. I know one of the ministries we used to be involved in was, like, really big on, like, forgiveness and, like, not letting division kind of come up amongst everybody. And so I know that's one big thing that helps, because now whenever you see the attacks coming your way, you're like looking at it in third person of like, oh, this is like a tactic of the enemy that's trying to sow division, but I can't let myself not forgive you, because literally I'm going to hinder everything that the Lord is trying to do in our lives. So you have to just keep persevering. And I think also integrity helps you kind of combat all the hate, because I think if you're living a secret life, when people try to poke at you, then you might get triggered and you can't even say nothing because you actually are living in sin. But I think integrity helps so much, because then it's like if someone says something, I don't got no skeletons.
Because they're calling you a Jezebel, you know you're not a Jezebel.
It's like, actually, I'm not. So where are we going to go with this conversation? So I think that's really great, because the integrity helps you be able to combat in so many ways. It helps you defend other people, and it helps you defend yourself and the gospel in general, because your life is going to show for itself. Your life, like just all the fruit from the past, like nobody can really say anything because there's nothing to unhindered, like there's nothing to pull up. Yeah, and so I think that's like super important. And then one thing I would say too is it's been really beautiful seeing like how God is using us in new spaces to show light and to like break down like racism. So I know like for me, like I keep ending up in a lot of white spaces. And I've been telling Portia, I've been in some meetings like with some higher up people who are like older white people, people who like you would just never think like we'd be in a world together. And a lot of times I'm the youngest person in there, and I'm like the only black woman, and it's just kind of like crazy. I'm like, I don't know how the heck I'm in this room right now. But it's beautiful how God has been shining a light through like what we're doing to where people are like, nah, your voice is valid, and I'm seeing that you're seeing life a different way that I'm not seeing it, and I'm trying to learn. And I think it's been really cool because now since we actually do life with each other, I can like bring all of our life experiences to people and like be honest and be like, nah, this needs to change. Nah, this is how we need to have growth. And it's cool seeing it like be implemented in different labels, different spaces and stuff like that. And I'm like, there's something in my head, and I'm trying to find where I was trying to go with it. But it just
representation.
It's in general. It
comes back to you just
if it comes back. But I just think it's super important because there's a whole bunch of people who are watching what we're doing, and they just don't know how to put it into words. But I'm just glad to see like God breaking down so many barriers, breaking down so many spaces, and like
pushing us up.
Pushing y'all up. I love that. Let's talk about, on a little bit of a lighter note, let's talk about how you guys put together the rollout for this project and all of the social media assets that you guys put your heads together with your husbands and created. I'm talking about making your own DIY sets, taping things to the ceiling, press conferences, video shoots. Like I said, much of this while you were pregnant, much of this batch recording days back to back to back of recording so that you could have all of the content that you needed. I feel like it's a lost art, and people really struggle with this, but you guys have rolled this thing out excellently. Whose idea was it to kind of batch and get all that stuff together? Did y'all guys come up with the concepts together? And how did you stay so consistent? Because while the rollout is rolling, life is rolling too. So how did you stay consistent?
Well, batching wasn't optional. Like it really needed to happen
because her baby was due.
It's like the baby can come, and then the crazy part is like your baby can be born early. So it was kind of like, hey man, I think it was actually really beautiful because how you talked about like how God had to like deliver you from like having a sense of urgency. I think that was like a theme throughout our project in general. So the project came into inception because of a sense of urgency of like, we were kind of playing. We need to actually like put something. We got to put something.
Maternity leave is coming.
So part one. Well, just even outside of maternity leave, like us just uniting as sisters in Christ and using our gifts.
It was long overdue.
Yeah, it was long overdue. So that was part one of like, we need to come together and just make a song, period. So it started as 2 songs, evolved into a project. Part one. Then sense of urgency with the pregnancy. God was like, well, you gonna get it done or not? Right. So that
you gotta sit down.
So that gave us a sense of urgency as well, which is beautiful. I think God needed to put that in our backs to where it's like, you need to get this content done. So it gave us a sense of urgency to film everything, get everything done, and put it out. And then I think that one thing that's beautiful is the talents, God making us multifaceted. So normally budgets ain't always the way they need to be, and so it's beautiful because since we know how to do makeup, we know how to do hair, it was able to tag team everything because
the leave out was left out when I walked into the building, but Portia said, nah girl, now come on, sit down, let me help you out.
So that's a good friend. So there's certain days, like I know whenever they're finishing up the set with the newspaper, which phenomenal, shout out to the fam. I was doing my makeup. It was like 5 a.m. bro. It was crazy.
So
I need to post a blog. So it was like 5 a.m. I'm doing my makeup at her house, and then they're finishing up some things, and she's like, all right, let me put the rhinestones on your eyes. And so I think it's really cool of us being able to support each other in different ways, where she's like, okay, I got a garage, so we got the space, so y'all can come over to my house, and we're like, all right, we're gonna drive the hour, we're gonna make everything happen. And so but she can speak more into like the execution, because I know she had some really great ideas with like the vision boards and
Portia's
stuff.
one of the most creative people I know.
She don't play around.
She ain't no slouch. And then she messed around and married somebody who also ain't no
who's down for the cause.
So I'm talking, when I tell you power couple in this creative space, if you ain't hiring them, you need to hire them. They'll come up with a whole plan for you. Donald film it, edit it. I'm trying to tell you. Let me tell you, me and my husband had to learn, because I said, listen, we can't afford them for every episode. once we went evergreen and we had to produce every week, I said, "Damn." I didn't say actually. I was willing to keep hiring you. My husband had to bring me down to reality. He said, "Do you understand how much that's going to cost? We might need to learn how to do a few things ourselves." And, because Portia was doing my makeup, Don was it was, but I didn't mind because of the excellence. And I have a post about this that actually went viral where I talked about how I prayed for God to send me my helpers. I heard that prayer from Lovey Ajayi Jones, and God sent me Portia and Don. Those were the people who helped me get this podcast off the ground. So I just gotta say a quick plug in terms of creativity and getting things done. When you see the rollout for this album and all the stuff, all the video shooting, all that stuff, I'm telling you, that mind over there,
She not playing around.
she not playing around, no slouch. So how did this stuff come to you?
Not you about to make me cry. I'm tired of crying on these interviews. I don't know what's going on. But yes, so in the beginning, we were thinking about how we wanted it to look as far as Who. So Who was the last song that we did on the project, but it's the quickest song that we got done. It's amazing how when you actually moving and creating that your brain can just push out music.
Momentum.
Yeah, momentum, literally. So we had an idea to do like the newspaper room. And this project has really shown me that anything is possible. I already had a mindset of like, well, let's just do it. Like, we can just figure it out. Like, let's just get it together. And I'm really good at doing things that look expensive as a DIY. So we wanted to do, instead of doing the pure space and paying for a space, I'm like, well, why don't we just get some newspapers and tape them up to the garage and we can figure it out. So I traveled all around my neighborhood trying to go to every library I could find to get some free newspapers, and they gave me a whole bunch of stacks of just free newspapers, and we taped them up and my husband finished it. But it was great. Everything just ended up working out perfectly, even with the shoot for our conference shoot. Like, that was fun, and my husband was like, okay, well, I found a space, and I prayed, and usually when I hear music, I can see visuals. Yes. So if I really focus and I pray and I, just listen to the music, I can see what the vision of it should be. And that's kind of the route we took for the music videos and stuff like that. And even the name, Good News, No Gossip, I was sitting in the car, and God gave me another name for our girl project. Oh, okay. I gotta let you know that. I'll run it by you. I just, I'll let you know off camera.
I need an exclusive. Exclusive.
But I was sitting in the car thinking of like names, and okay, we'll talk later. But anyway, so I was sitting in the car again, and the Holy Spirit literally told me, Good News, No Gossip. And I just was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So I ran it by Anike. She was like, yeah, that's fire. Let's do it. So I'm like, okay, man, period.
It's funny because she was so chill. She was like, oh, just let me know if you like it. I was like, what you mean?
I don't know. I wasn't sure. I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be good. But she was like, no, that's hard. So I was like, okay, period. I mean, the Lord gave it to me. So shout out to Jesus. But that has been so refreshing, just being able to like bounce our ideas off of each other. Even like, we be so in sync. No, Justin. Literally. It's a rapper. Everything we showed up to, every shoot, we wore the same thing. It wasn't intentional. Wow. Except for the first shoot, we wore the same thing on purpose. We actually went shopping for that, and we picked it out, all of the things. But every shoot after that, from the conference to the God is with her to all of, even some of our interviews, I'm surprised we didn't wear the same thing today. I literally was thinking about that today. I'm like, I wonder what she's gonna wear. I hope we do it again or don't do it again. I don't know. But I thought about that because we do it so many times. We're just so in sync in terms of like what we wear and stuff like that. So it's been a blast, just creating, and your relationship with God is the root of everything, and that is what has been. It makes my creativity grow. It feeds my creativity, so that even when I have other people's song, I can say, oh, you should do the video like this, or you should da-da-da. Now if they listen, then that's up to them. If they don't, then you do what you want to do. But it's been a joy to be able to be in community with somebody who trusts my voice and trusts like my creative gift. And then we like a lot of the same things. So, and then Anike is so wise. Like, she just be knowing what to do. Okay, yeah, well, because I might not know how to execute it, but I'll know what it looks like. And then she'll say, okay, well, this is how we can practically get that done. Right. She brings me back down to reality.
She came in here with a plan. She getting her content. We over here yipping and yapping. She's like, all right, let me get my content.
Yes. No, she's excellent at planning, and she has the gift of teaching. So she has a spiritual gift of teaching. So definitely get that journal.
Love it.
You want that book for sure.
I love it. right, so we ask a final question here, but before I ask that question, I want to ask you guys individually, what is your like favorite track, your personal favorite track on the project, and why?
It's funny because everybody asks us that. I'm like, what answer do I want to give today?
All of them.
It could change day by day.
Yeah, no, they're all like super fun. I think today is giving Who. Yeah. So I think that one's just so fun because of the energy. Because like whenever she was telling the story of like the content, I just think back to that day. Like it was just so much fun to shoot everything because we were outside. I think it was hot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We don't like. There was a scene where we were. That was real. Like,
It was
like,
hot.
it's like, hey, I'm
Every
actually.
shoot was hot, and then we booked at Pierce Space. They didn't have no air.
Ooh.
We had to have a fan. It was really hot.
Yeah, so I think that one was a lot of fun just for the community aspect because we had Mikhail, Roxy, me, all the husbands, Portia. Yeah, so everybody was in the building. You know, the baby was in the building. Yeah. So I think that one was like a lot of fun just to like go over to her house. Get ready, basically go around the neighborhood, shoot different things, and also like they're like running around us in a circle to shoot stuff. So like
That was so fun.
Yeah, so
it looked amazing.
Yeah, then we had like funny memories because they was like, oh, we need to sit down. They're like, do you want to sit down there? Oh, so like it was so funny, like just all the random like things that come across with shooting content. So I think that was like a lot of fun just to shoot and just thinking back of the memories of that shoot in general. And then I think we watched TV afterwards too for a little bit.
Yeah, and
Chill.
went to sleep.
Yeah.
Took a nap.
Chilling.
Yeah, so even that too, like just being able to like just actually do life with each other, I think that was like a lot of fun. So that was my favorite. And then obviously it's what we're talking about, who King of Kings. So yeah,
Opened up.
yeah.
Period.
OG version, Lord of Lords.
No, literally.
Y'all said y'all
We switched
changed
it up. Yeah. It was, shout out to Jesus.
My favorite part is God's people on one accord because we need to get on one accord. Okay, but
I wanna call. Don't do it now. No, literally. That so much of our music on the project is rooted in scripture, and that was very important for us. I know the Lord was telling me to put me back into the music. That's what he said. Put me back into the music. Oftentimes we can get distracted as creatives, and we want to talk about our life or ourselves. But the Lord was reminding me to put me back into the music, put my word back into the music. Because if I be lifted up, I will draw men.
Well.
You know what I'm saying? So that was our focal point of like, okay, how can we glorify God through a way that people who are like us could receive it and being able to express that. So that was a fun experience. I would have to say God Will Make a Way with Ablaze, featuring Ablaze, youth choir, yes.
a vibe.
Yeah, very much so. Got to do more content with that because that song is fire. But love creating that. It's such a soulful experience. The leader, Mark, who is the lead vocalist in Ablaze, is amazing. And that is just a fun song. It's really down to earth. I feel like we got a little bit personal with that. And I enjoy music like that as well. Just being able to open our personal lives up to our fans on our music. So yeah, I would have to say that song for sure. I also want to say something, just going back a little bit about the women in our space. And I just want to give a little advice in terms of something else outside of education that will be helpful for them in the space is community. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You cannot want to be supported by a community you are not a part of.
And that you don't support.
And that you do not support and that you do not serve.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people from the outside looking in just want an opportunity, but nobody wants to serve. Nobody wants to help. Nobody wants to pray. Oftentimes when I'm at these festivals, I'm in the back praying for your favorite artist. I'm in the back. What can I do? What do you need?
No, serious. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Okay? Because that's just my heart. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, our goal is to get to heaven. And we have to be intercessors for one another. We have to support one another. We have to serve one another. And that's how you come up. You know what I'm saying? So don't try to be a part of a community that you do not serve, that you do not support, that you do not add value to. Oftentimes people get in spaces and they just want to see what they can get. Well, what are you adding? Like, who are you serving? Can they benefit from your platform? Can they benefit? One thing I love about Indie Tribe, and I love that Miles Minnick is doing, is that they have a platform that their friends can benefit from. You know what I'm saying? They can bring their friends on and be like, okay, bet, you know, because it's all the way in California, all the way in Nashville. Those are two different demographics. You know what I'm saying? And it's beautiful to be able to do that and to see that and to see them thrive in community and in brotherhood and all of the things. But even, you know, just as women, focus on your community. That has been such a staple for my career because I'm really friends with these people, you know, and I don't collab with people I don't know. I don't collab to pay my rent. I collab because I genuinely want to build relationships with people. So having that in mind will help you go further in your career as well.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, even in real time, like, we can see that for just even beyond just sisterhood, because literally we have a booking coming up that's going to be like this really huge festival in Piedmont. And literally, I remember I just went to go it was like this McDonald's event.
Okay.
And so I went just to support like the Christian
like a
community.
gospel fest.
Yeah. And so I went to go support, like, because I just genuinely love Christian music and I wanted to support like all my brothers and sisters who were performing that day. And then literally from me just being there casually to support, nothing in my head, someone comes up to me from church and they're like, "Oh, I want you to meet this guy. He has a festival." And then he's like, yeah, I would love for you to come out. And then he said, "Actually, your pastor, he's gonna be a part of it." And he said, "You have to have Anike. She's so fire." And then from there, I remember I was like, "Oh, have you met the rest of the Holy Girls and everything?" And then it's like,
Always pulling me in.
and then I was like, "Hey, you had this conversation."
How you doing?
Yeah. And then he was like, "Yeah," and he's just showing it on his phone. He's saying it so casually on his phone, like, "Oh yeah, look, I throw festivals." And it's all like, no, like he threw a thousand people festival and like paid for, like for like all we have to do is show up, but like people get to come for free. And so like once you start throwing your own events, you realize like how crazy that is. For
to
like
not need ticket sales.
Yeah. And so I think that was like super beautiful in real time of like little things of like me serving at church. That's how my pastor knows who I am. Was like able to say, "Oh, recommend one of my."
She has a church she go to.
Yeah.
Local, y'all know how I feel about the local church.
The church.
My podcast, I don't want to give y'all a speech. Y'all know how I feel about serving at finding a place.
Yeah. Her and her husband.
It's important.
Yeah, and then
you and your husband too.
Yeah, we do. Big backs, big backs. Yeah, and then us as being sisters, being able to be like, "Hey, alley-oop, hey, pull up my sister in." And so just things like that are super important. And one last thing I was thinking about with the whole sisterhood, I think one super important thing is the submission part and the humbleness part, because that's how everything works. Even marriage, that's how everything works. Like if you can just nail that down, you're gonna go far in life, because the biggest thing is ego. Like with ego, that's how arguments happen. You don't apologize. You don't apologize, things crumble. That's why the Lord talks about like don't go to sleep on your anger and stuff like that. Even just like how we're here, like how we're all giving each other compliments, giving each other love. There's some people who that's gonna burn them to the core. You're giving someone else a compliment, like literally, and like that breaks things down. And I've seen it in other artists too. Like if you have a good song, they might start looking at you like, "How do you have a good song?" Like,
I'm better than you.
Yeah. Like it's a thing. Some people like look down on you, like, and they're like,
they think they deserve it.
Yeah.
But it's like, you don't know what this woman been through.
Yeah.
You don't know what she had to go through. You don't know what I had to go through. You don't know what you had to
And
go
also,
through.
what I tell people is, if you could do it better, then do
Do
it. I'm not stopping you.
Right.
I'm not.
You better be better.
Yeah, I would like you to be better.
Go ahead.
You know? And I think it's hard for people too when you get something faster than them. Like if they've been doing something longer than you, and you, oh baby, they struggle. This happens to me in this podcast space. I'm like, y'all, God elevated me. I didn't do.
Yeah, that's refinement from the Lord, though. I feel like that can be a natural human reaction, but that's why you have to die to flesh.
Yes.
Like anytime, even something like that wants to rise in you, be like, "Lord, I repent. Lord, I lay that down. Lord, kill it."
Yeah.
And like you really have to, because otherwise it's gonna fester, and then you're gonna turn into an ugly
and serve
version.
and support that person. I have served and supported people who have passed me in CHH. You know, actually, that's what I do for a living. I serve and support people who passed me. Like, you know what I mean? And who I was doing that before. And I think a lot of times the reason that I'm able to do it, yes, humility, but also I think, and I think you guys do this very well, you understand your role in the ecosystem. My role in the ecosystem right now is media support to elevate and magnify the voices of the people in CHH and outside of CHH, but primarily through holy culture and CHH, so that they have a place to come sit and tell their story. If I was so hopped up on, I rap, I used to rap, I used to rap. Let me show you my people would be like, girl, chill.
And that's how I keep my story. Like, so literally in college and stuff, I was working with Rapzilla, and so I used to do interviews for people who would do festivals like South by Southwest.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. Wow. Like it's crazy. Even our sister. So Adia don't even know the story. I remember back then I met Adia back then, and it was like, oh hey, I'm a reporter with Rapzilla. So like even little things like that of like, I met people like 10 years ago, which is kind of cool, because you don't know what the Lord is trying to do to help you out later in life. So because I served in that capacity so many years ago, now I know people, but I knew them from when they first started. Like Ty Brazel, I knew him from whenever he put out his first song. Dante Pride, who's popping off now. I knew him. I knew him from whenever he was like, he told me, and I forgot about this. He's like, oh, did you know you're the first person to upload my music video to Rapzilla?
Wow.
I didn't even realize that. And so like little things that people appreciate. You don't know how the Lord's trying to use you in that capacity. That's gonna come out later in life. And so even Reach, I was serving artists, bro.
Wow.
Like, yeah, and I wasn't signed yet. I was on staff
From the beginning.
Yeah, I was on staff. I was an intern, and then I was
they
on
was
staff.
hiring her to look for female talent.
artists, bro. Talk about refinement.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, Ace was
Wow.
like, yeah, man, we just trying to find a female artist, and then they were like, yeah, we're gonna have you help out the female artists.
Can you write this?
Yeah,
Can
help
you-
refine their bars and stuff, and they're gonna work. Y'all gonna work together. I'm like, if I'm refining their bars, like, I could be them.
Wow.
But literally, like, I literally had to submit that to the Lord and say,
Yeah.
you know what, God, maybe you're gonna use that person, and they're gonna speak up for me later in life.
Yeah.
But I don't know, and so I just had to be okay with being a part of what God is doing, and like die to literally. That helped me die to flesh, like to the a millionth capacity of like, all right, Lord. If it has to be somebody else, then it's okay. You go whatever He does to them, Him blessing them doesn't stop them. Doesn't stop God from blessing me.
Story.
And so
People don't know.
We got to get that story at a different time. But
Yeah.
that's really good. And that's encouraging to me because I know that God has a different call on my life for many things, but I'm very submitted to time and space. I understand that to everything there is a season. And I approach this season with a lot of joy and a lot of purpose, which kind of leads me to our final question that I ask everyone. Portia's been asked this before, so I'm gonna have you go first, Anike. But the question that I end with here on the podcast is, in the grand scheme of things, what do you want your legacy to be?
In the grand scheme of things, actually, I was thinking about this the other day. Honestly, just spreading the gospel and being a representation of what it looks like to live life God's way. And I feel like that's what I want my legacy to be, and that's kind of like my why behind all my content, behind my music. It's like, okay, does this spread the gospel? Does this piece of content spread the gospel? Does this piece of content encourage people to want to live life God's way? And I feel like that's my why behind everything. So whether motherhood content, little comedy, all that stuff, I'm showing you like, oh look, I'm doing some comedy with my husband, but hey, it's possible. You can have a husband if you live life God's way. Or like, oh, I'm making this new song, like I'm trying to show you the gospel and like create disciples, or I'm trying to show you what I'm going through in life, but living life God's way, how I'm dealing with it. And so I feel like that's kind of like what I want my legacy to be, of like, oh, that woman really loved the Lord. She really inspired me to want to live life God's way, and she really like shared the gospel with me.
I love that. And Portia, for you.
Oh, that's so good. I feel like it's changing just as I grow. But I definitely want to be known for a woman that advocated for women. A woman that was truly a girl's girl. Not saying that she a girl and then you stabbing your sister in your back. Or having a conference and like, oh yeah, all of the women, and then you just being a mean girl. And tearing women down just, but they bought tickets from you and they are inspired by you, but you're not uplifting them, you're just condemning them. But I really want to be known for the woman that advocated for other women, that was a true girl's girl, and that loved people and loved God. So yeah. That's
I will say at her conference, I literally said that in the green room. I was like, I just love this conference, everybody you had, because I was saying like people be not girls and they be mean, and so I was like, man, this is so beautiful, a reflection of Portia.
That's his arrival.
Yeah, it was a reflection
part
of
two
her.
comes soon.
It was a reflection of her character, that everybody who was even there was like genuinely loving, genuinely
We had a time.
Yeah,
Yes, we did. Shout out to Lish, because she had that mic and was tearing us up, honey.
We had a time.
Yes.
It was really encouraging. Listen, I want you guys to know that the kingdom at large is indebted to you, the work that you're doing. Young girls, you don't know it yet, right? Because you're in it. But in 20 years, young girls will be running up to you saying, when I was a kid, I used to listen to your music. When I think about Jamie Grace and who I love. Shout out to Jamie, I've been trying to get you on the couch now.
Girl,
Come on, Jamie.
come through.
But when I think about how young girls go up to her and say, I used to listen to my
I
mom.
used to listen to
listen to Jamie Grace.
So you guys are doing the same thing. You're giving this generation a soundtrack. You're giving this generation music that they can be proud of, that they can dance to and vibe to and make TikToks to, that they can be proud of. And it is not a small thing. So on those days when it's hard and when you are either being trolled or just the enemy is trying to troll you in your head, or when money don't look right or contracts are funny, please remember that the kingdom impact of this is going to pay dividends and rewards on the other side that this earth could never give you. And if no one has told you that recently, let me be the one to tell you.
Receive.
Thank you for letting yourself in this way, because it is changing lives. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you
you for
sister.
having us.
Holy girls up.
Holy girls up, period. Right now, That's God is doing big things all over the internet. And I really want to encourage you guys, listen to that song. It's an anthem. You guys created anthems on this project. And so when you are doing your TikToks, when you're doing your reels, when you need something behind that, remember that's God. That's because it really is God. Period.
Who making waves up out of no?
That's God. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of I'll Just Let Myself In with your girl Lish Speaks. If you've listened on Holy Culture Radio, channel 140 on Sirius XM, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Monday night, we thank you for listening there. If you have watched on their YouTube, we thank you for watching there. And if you're watching on my YouTube, Lish Speaks, thank you for watching there, and make sure that you subscribe. It looks like those of you who watch the podcast consistently, about 70% of you are not subscribed. Now, we're going to charge it to your head and not your heart, right? You may not know you're not subscribed, but I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the content on our page. Like I always tell you, my encouragement, my desire, my goal with this platform is to help you stop procrastinating, stop overthinking, stop listening to the voice of the enemy, and walk through your God-given doors. I hope this episode encouraged you to do that. And I'll see you back same time, same place next week. Peace.
Have a great day.